the Pentagon told him, do not talk about this at all. And he described it as being like a paradise on Earth, nothing he's ever seen before. Green hills, 74-degree temperature.
Objects.
Really?
And then,
Yeah, I remember.
It's not even the shape.
Negative.
mentally ill.
And a special effects agency. We are back here, Ethan Claire podcast show, live from the living room studio, if you want to call it here, in Mankato, Minnesota.
Oh, I didn't know we were actually going.
We're going now, Bo.
He's been testing.
Bo? All right, we are good here. We're going finally. Good to be back here on the podcast. Big episode 76.
Ooh,
Yeah,
biggest
so-
number in the world.
Shit. Yeah, we do have to announce the winner of the Jelly Bean Challenge, though, so let me grab the jelly beans here. All right. This is the craziest thing of all time. We posted this last week. We probably got... We actually had a lot of people that gave numbers. I think the highest I saw was like 400 something, close to 500. The lowest we had, Matt guessed like 80, I think. Here's the jar again. The amount was actually successfully guessed by a lady from Jackson. Her name is Linda Lowen, and she guessed 289, which is the exact...
I thought Austin Jones. I saw his comment.
I think he might have commented after Linda. So, Jones, better luck next time, I guess. Maybe we'll do another one. But everyone, 289 in the Jelly Bean guess. And
what's her prize?
she'll be winning some official T-Win gear. And when I mean that, I mean official Times T-Win gear.
Good luck to her, because I'm still waiting on mine.
You didn't order any. Please place an order if you want to get some. Tonight, though, podcast sponsored by Bud Light Lemonade. Thanks, Bud Light. Gonna crack one here. You can hear the cold, refreshing taste of a lemon and a Bud Light. It's actually very good stuff here. Highly would recommend. Everyone grab one. It's gonna be
21 plus, of course.
21 plus, of course. Gonna be the drink of the summer here. So I'm gonna take a swig.
If there's a summer, of course.
If there's a summer with the coronavirus. Tonight, though, jumping in, we have Colin Clare here on the couch and Adam Farag. We are kind of, I guess you could say, doing the 6-foot rule, although these guys are a little bit closer than 6 feet. I'm kind of avoiding them here for the coronavirus. We did just get back from Arizona, though. Amazing trip, boys. Didn't you guys think? Pretty crazy.
Yeah, we saw some pretty
good
amazing
time.
stuff there for sure.
Definitely check out the video, which is on our main YouTube channel, Ethan Clare Films, and that has a little bit of the stuff we did. We did a lot of stuff in one weekend and tried to fit it into that video.
Found out that it snows in Arizona. And I would have never expected it.
It's crazy. That's not a conspiracy theory. That is true, real life. It does snow.
Confirmed. It has been confirmed.
Illuminati confirmed. So that we
Made
got
great friends, had a good time.
Ian, our
Shout
boy
out to
Ian from California. So that was a great trip. You can check that out, like I said. Tonight, though, we are talking about conspiracy theories and conspiracy theories that most people probably have never heard of. And so that is kind of my thought process with it. And I kind of stumbled across a conspiracy theory that I'm like, that just sounds outrageous. I've never heard of that before. And then I'm like, let's see what other ones I can find that probably no one else has heard of. Because we, like Adam said, we've all heard of the basic, like the moon landing, 9/11 was a government job. There's all kinds of flat earth conspiracies. There's all these basic conspiracy theories. And then you have your like more complex ones that not as many people know about. And I feel like that's kind of the ones that we kind of target or try to target. Adam said he found one.
Yeah,
I have two. I have two of them. But Adam, if you wanna, we could either go me or you first. It doesn't matter.
You
to
know
me.
what? How about you start and we'll have a little
back and forth.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, see how
then
that
I'll
goes.
start off with
What if I have one?
easy, buddy. Kidding. If you have one, we can hear it for sure.
No, I'll just
press
add
on.
my.
He'll
comments.
save his for the last.
Yeah,
All right.
it could be the grand finale.
So the first one I start off with here is when I think, well, I guess I already told you guys what it is, but we'll just kind of give this for the fans. When I say a blind musician, who's the first person that most people think?
Probably Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, I was either going to say him or Ray Charles, both blind. They
That
can
was
play,
my next guess.
Yeah,
was
Ray Charles, they play the piano, they can sing, do a lot of stuff. But what if I told you that there's a conspiracy theory that Stevie Wonder is not actually blind?
I probably believe you
What?
saying that because there's a conspiracy theory for everything.
That is true. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. But
That's
what
a
if
valid point.
there is a lot of like not proof, but like very strange videos that kind of would say, You know, I wonder if Stevie Wonder, pictures and videos, I wonder if Stevie Wonder is actually blind, you know? So
I don't know. I would be I would be shocked, but I cannot wait to see what
Yeah,
you have on
I'd
this.
probably say, show me.
Fair enough. I do have to put a disclaimer here, though. By us talking about these, we are not by any means saying that we believe them or that we are, you know, pushing these out there into the public, because obviously these are like undermining someone's entire career, but the first one here. And so I'm a huge Stevie Wonder fan, but it's interesting to look at stuff, talk about it, think about it. So I'm going to first show you Stevie Wonder doing something that a blind person should be able to do if he was actually blind here. So 1 second, let me... Oh,
Nope.
Is that the right one? Okay, here we go. So this is the first video here. And hopefully we can hear this. The volume doesn't even really matter. So we're going to watch. This is a bunch of artists performing at the White House. And you're going to see Paul McCartney walk across the screen. He's going to knock over the microphone. Well, it's strange who was able to catch it. Better turn this down before we get demonetized. All right, so that happened really quick. But
Wow.
I just want you to watch it one more time before you say anything. Okay, one more time before we start jumping to conclusions here. So Paul McCartney knocks over the microphone, and there's Stevie Wonder catching it. And then I don't know who's right next to him there to help him out. But watch that one more time here. Paul McCartney knocks the microphone with his head, and Stevie Wonder notices it's falling and catches it. I had a couple things that I was gonna say, but I kind of want to hear what you guys have to think about that.
He must have heard it.
I don't know, because I feel like for something like that, what if he would have like stepped for something, reached, and there was nothing there, or like he was totally off on it. You know what I mean?
Yep. What do you think though happened? Do you think that? I don't even know. What do you think? Isn't that kind of weird?
I honestly don't even know how to explain it, because
let me watch one more time here. So. I was kind of wondering, what if like the microphone stand like brushed Stevie as it fell over, but you could see he flinches as soon as Paul McCartney hits with his head. Watch it here, boom. Okay, now watch Stevie Wonder. It seems like he's already noticing it because he puts his hand out right there to grab it as it's falling.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's falling towards him.
Wow. Okay.
And you could say like the noise thing, like maybe he heard his head hit it, but like Adam said, what if he just put his arm?
It's too direct, you know.
Yeah.
Like
it was a good catch.
Went right into his hand, and that's the thing, is I feel like he wouldn't reach out for something, and then like everyone's like, what is he doing?
Yep.
You know,
that is true.
He's been blind long enough to know like when something's going on. Well, in theory.
In theory, yeah. Do you think? My question is, do you think if he really, I'm not trying to say if he really was blind, because I believe he's blind, but if he really was blind, that there would be more of these accidental things, like where he's reaching for something or grabbing something or tripping or falling or anything. You can't find it though. You can't find him failing.
And that's kind of like the counter to that is like, I feel like obviously there's a very slim chance that like it's been a gig this whole time.
Yeah.
Right, but I feel like he would know by now to let stuff like that go, you know, to let it slide. I mean, I understand that everybody has like your natural reactions.
Yep.
And like if you see something tipping, you're gonna grab it.
Yep.
Especially when the guy who's next closest to it has a guitar, so he can't really grab it.
No.
But man, that is
I want to watch it one more time.
That's so difficult to explain.
It's a very strange video. It's got multi-million views on YouTube there. Wait, wait a minute. Did he miss it? It looked like he missed it. Watch his hand close.
No, he did.
Watch his hand come back out.
No, I think it hit like right here.
It hit like right here.
Right here, didn't it?
It hit right here. Watch his hand. I'm now that I'm watching this more, this whole thing might be debunked right here. Watch his hand. It looks like it hits his like middle of his arm. I'll show. Look, his hand is right behind producer. You could see his hand right there.
They didn't get a better camera angle of this?
No.
There's only
one.
It
wasn't like a... Watch his arm, Adam. You could see his hand.
I feel like
his hand.
I feel like it falls like right into his palm. Like
Adam, look at his...
No, look at his hands right there.
You could see his thumb, his fingers. I mean, I don't want to get too... I'm going to try to go frame by frame here.
Oh, yeah, that is his hand. You're right.
So I think it actually... He tried... Yeah, it goes into his arm. It doesn't go right into his hand. Either way...
Unless it is one of those things where he's like... Maybe he knows it right away. he's like, oh, I'm stepping towards it, but I can't just catch it like that because then the whole crowd will be like, oh,
that is
so like
that's interesting.
I mean,
yeah.
it looks natural because like he's kind of swaying already. You know what I'm saying? Like going with the beat.
Yep.
But like,
I don't know.
Because also like when it hit like his arm, he didn't have any sort of like, whoa, what just hit me? Reaction.
Yep.
You know?
No. It looked like he knew what it was.
Exactly, for sure. Yeah.
Let's not get too into this one. I want to show you the other stuff. I want to show you some pictures too.
But that is pretty insane.
Isn't that crazy?
Sure.
Yeah. So here's another one. These are pictures now. Here is Stevie Wonder at a Knicks game.
Spike Lee.
With Spike Lee. They're courtside. Now, I'm not saying that blind people can't enjoy basketball, but I don't know. It's just there's a lot of pictures of Stevie Wonder at basketball games.
I mean, like, if you're sitting courtside, you know where the game is happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying like, why would he even go to a game?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the point of going to the game?
I don't want to be a horrible person, but this is one of those things.
I mean, he must enjoy
it adds to the conspiracy
noise
theory.
of the game.
It will definitely, and I know that blind people have. If you're blind, you have extreme other senses like they're heightened, so you can hear and you can smell and you can like feel the energy going on, and I'm sure that's why he goes. But for the people that really push this conspiracy theory, they show him at basketball games and at other sporting events, and they're like, why does he need to be courtside? Why is he going to NBA games? And I have another one here of him, and he looks like he's getting into the game a little bit by Spike Lee.
Or Spike Lee is telling him some outlandish stuff right now.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it. He's like, is he
True.
really saying
Doesn't
that?
Spike Lee go to every Knicks game?
Or he sees his top hat and he's like, oh, come on, man. Or no one sees his top hat on.
I have another strange picture here. This might be the strangest of them all. It might be the strangest of them all. It is Stevie Wonder taking a picture of Michael Jackson. And it's not just like an iPhone picture. This is an old one of those old cameras where you have to put your eye up to the hole. And it looks like he's centering the camera pretty good on Michael. This is actually Michael Jackson in a wax museum. It looks like to me, doesn't it? I mean, just from the look,
sure.
yeah,
it looks like it.
Like his hand and stuff,
yeah, you see Stevie Wonder with a camera though, clearly taking a picture of Michael Jackson, wax figure.
I hope that was just for the sake of the joke or something.
That's
Please.
How will we know? How will we ever know how many of these are jokes too? Like.
Maybe he has a really great sense of humor.
He does have a really good sense of humor. I know that for a fact because there's videos of him joking about being able to see. Maybe they're doing this and it just gets all of the people like us and people who are looking into it like, oh,
for sure.
Imagine
imagine faking being blind all this whole time.
Yeah, it would be.
Just the idea of it is outlandish.
Because I don't think we can deny that a huge part of... I mean, Stevie Wonder's a great artist, but the thing that brings him to the next level is that he's blind and he can play piano and he can sing. Like, of course he can sing, but like he's a multi-talented musician and he can do all that while being blind, you know? So it definitely adds to the whole thing. There's one more video here for this conspiracy theory, and there's a lot more. Most of them are... And I didn't know how, like... much you could like verify them or whatever, like how I don't know what you want to call it, how good of like content they were to prove this, but they're just other celebrities being like, I swear to God, Stevie Wonder's not blind, and they have stories about how he got in his car and started driving away and stuff like that, and they're like, whoa, you're blind. He's like, oh yeah, my bad, and he gets out and stuff like that. Here's a video of TMZ, and I have to kind of skip into it here.
Oh, might as well shut this off already.
Did you fly them yourself?
I flew a plane once actually twice.
He flew a plane twice.
Oh,
yeah. How'd you
actually landed the plane.
go?
And you can't tell if he's joking or not.
And I go, are you going to come out one day and go, surprise, I can see? And he goes,
And this year, I would reveal the truth.
oh.
That's what he said. This year he will reveal the truth.
How recent is this? Out of curiosity.
I think this video was from like 2 or 3 years ago. So obviously, if the truth would have came out, it would have been said already. I think he's just messing with him.
That he absolutely had to be.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's probably a question that he's gotten a lot throughout his career. You know, like.
Yeah. Are you actually blind?
Yeah, because I'm sure everyone's like, there's no way you can be blind and play the piano this well. And
Well, Ray Charles, you know, was another like legend piano player, even more so than I think Stevie Wonder. He really pushed the piano part. Just unbelievable. My question to you is, what if Stevie Wonder wasn't 100% blind, but he was extremely blind? Like he can still see
outlines of things.
Outlines of things.
And that kind of would have been
possible.
my like most likely explanation for the microphone thing, and that's maybe why like he didn't catch it perfectly because like he could make out like the image of something falling.
Yep.
But like he wasn't. I mean, I'm sure he would assume it was the mic.
You definitely would still be blind.
Yeah.
That if you
for
could
sure.
only, I don't even know, and I don't know enough about people being blind, but it might be one of those things where you can still see like not colors, but you can see like faint cloudy. I don't know if it's complete darkness or if you can see. I don't want to speak to like I know enough about being blind that I can be like, oh no way, like that's not possible. But it'd be something to look into because I'm actually very curious as to like if blind people can actually make out things moving or if they're just completely oblivious to everything going on around them. And I'm sure there's different levels to being blind too, where you could be like completely blind or you're this much blind, whatever. So that's the conspiracy theory. Stevie Wonder. Either way, always going to be a legendary artist, and it's one of those absurd conspiracy theories. I saw the video. Is Stevie Wonder really blind with the mic stand falling over? I'm like, that is very interesting. I've never heard that before. I thought I'd look into it. What do you got, Adam? What do you got for us here?
So mine isn't necessarily so much of like a conspiracy theory in itself, but it was about like a experiment that happened long ago. So like the kind of overlaying conspiracy is that the government does things to try and like use mind control. I don't know if you've heard about this at all. So back in the 50s and 60s, there was this project. It was called Project MKULTRA. Have you heard of this at all?
I feel I've heard of MKUltra before, but not in that, not like in an operation sense. I feel like MKUltra is like about mind reading stuff though. When I've heard it before.
All right. So what it was it started off as a project on unwilling people. To like I don't remember exactly what the initial project like the meaning of the drugs was supposed to be. I'm getting a call right.
Oh yeah.
I had to decline it quick. So anyway, what happened was the CIA is the one who took over the experiment, and they would essentially were slipping like LSD among like other drugs to like a bunch of people, and not only like in these experiments. Obviously, they're all part of the experiment. But like for example, one thing they did, which I thought was really crazy, was so the CIA themselves set up like a bunch of brothels, and so when guys would come there to use them, the workers would slip them like these drugs, and then like they would watch through like one-way mirrors.
Operation MKUltra. I might have to look this one up here.
Yeah. Like that was one of the biggest things. Like they would watch the mirrors, like watch their reactions, and the reasoning for it was that they wanted to see if like they could use these drugs to, like, pretty much turn them into like a brainwash, or like not necessarily brainwash them, but like kind of turn them into like a robot for them, or like
really
or use it as like a truth serum.
Oh my gosh!
To like pretty much take over their mind, and it was crazy because like they even drugged people like within the CIA, like obviously without them knowing, and like people like just in the public too, and then like a lot of them was like prisoners and like people in like mental hospitals too. So like pretty much what it was that they wanted it to be able to like wipe out like part of your brain, and like it ended up killing multiple people. And
really,
it also left people like a lot of people like permanently like mentally disabled.
Wow! It says here they use psychoactive drugs, LSD, psilocybin, mescaline, cocaine, AMT, and DMT. So, and were they doing this more as a test of what the effect of the drugs would have on your mind, or was it specifically in the context of changing the mindset or whatever of these people? You know what I mean? Or was it both kind of?
So what I had saw was that they were using it because it was during the Cold War.
Yeah, I'm seeing that here.
So they wanted to be able to like there was a plan in place actually to use it on Castro, I saw, but I feel like that doesn't really line up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like they're gonna use it on Castro, and like they
so
just wanted
the CIA
to be able to get out like information out of people, you know.
Yeah, wanted to know if they could make Soviet spies defect against their will, and whether the Soviets could do the same to the CIA's own operatives. Oh, so they're trying to get like information out of people by doing it. Wow. And I've never heard of that before.
And it ended up taking up like way too big of a toll on their brain for a bunch of these people. But it makes sense, especially with the like different combinations of drugs they would use.
Yeah. Here's the one you're talking about: Operation Midnight Climax. The CIA set up several brothels within agency safe houses in San Francisco to obtain a selection of men who would be too embarrassed to talk about the events. Oh, and then the men were dosed with LSD, The brothels were equipped with one-way mirrors, like you said, and the sessions were filmed for later viewing and study.
Isn't that
Wow.
insane?
That is nuts. And this is all, you said, against people's will? Like
But-
they didn't
well,
know
so-
they were doing it?
So when it initially started out, like the actual project, it was willing people, like people who were willing to do it, but like they didn't know the purpose of it. And, but like at the same time, it wasn't this like it wasn't like the LSD and stuff for the original people. But like the project just turned into a completely different thing.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like I've heard of stuff like this before where the government does like extremely dangerous or weird testing on its own people. Have you ever heard of like the early tests for like marijuana and stuff like that the government did? And they determined that it was a horrible drug or whatever. This is way back in the day. Like
the only thing that I can think of that relates to that is the very opening scene of Pineapple Express.
Oh, kind of, yeah.
That's exactly
That's
what
a
I think
little
of.
little bit too extreme.
Obviously, it's like it's dramatized,
But there was definitely times in the history of the United States where they like this is extremely when they were pushing like it's the devil's lettuce and it's bad for you and all this kind of stuff. And I think that they were like giving extreme amounts to people and then showing the public this is why it's horrible. This, like frying their brains. Like, I don't know what they were really doing, but that's kind of the basis of it. It seems weird to me that the government could like get away with that.
Right.
And that kind of goes in like the deep state, like big government, like has control over everything. They'll never get, in trouble for doing anything wrong morally or objectively. And so I don't know. That's interesting. I've never heard of this before. And I think it'd be something to do more research on. Is there any? Do you see if there's any like documentaries or anything on it?
I mean, I just saw a article on history about it.
Oh,
so
really?
I would assume.
Oh, films right here.
Yeah, so I would assume that history probably did something about it for sure.
Yeah. Wow. There's actually American Ultra, Mr. Right, Jason Bourne books, and film star Matt Damon are all based on MKUltra techniques because they are in the beginning of all the Jason Bourne movies. Well, specifically the first couple. He is drugged, remember, and he doesn't remember why he's doing what he's doing because he's a government agent. And so that I never even thought of that. That's actually kind of crazy. And there's a bunch of TV shows on it as well. Wow. Dang. Well, we'll have to do more research on that. But I'm kind of glad you brought that up because it kind of goes into my conspiracy theory here, which is we've all heard of flat Earth, right?
Oh, jeez.
Have you ever heard of a hollow Earth?
No.
Yes, there's an entire subset, not as big as the flat Earth movement. This is more old time, but there's a group of people and a lot of scientists who used to or still believe that the center of the Earth is hollow, and there's an entire planet in there, and there's a name for it. It is actually believed into the Buddhist religion that hollow Earth, or they call it Agartha, is a lost paradise, almost like heaven. And it's in the center of the Earth, and you get to it by traveling to the North Pole and flying into or sailing into a cave. This is kind of where it's at here. And obviously, it's not that big of a hole. This is kind of just
That's horribly photoshopped.
as we're talking about it as if it's a real thing. It's obviously not that big. This is kind of some of the views of what people say. It's like a lost paradise, like a whole nother planet within our planet, and that the people that live there live to be 800 years old. They call us the Hollow Earth men or the Hollow Earth women, and we are all not as good as them. They live better lives. They have better food. They have better water, better air. The toxins of Earth will never reach them.
Really?
And there are people. There's actually a guy, Admiral Richard Byrd. He is a very well-credited admiral who made journeys to the North Pole, South Pole, and discovered I'm pretty sure, a bunch of mountains up there. He discovered, don't verify this for 100%, but I'm pretty sure he discovered the Arctic Ocean, discovered a bunch of stuff way back in the day, and in 1947, he flew over the North Pole, discovered a hole that he could fly in, he landed in it, and he described it in a diary, and people have got pieces of the diary, but the diary was confiscated. When he came back, the Pentagon told him, do not talk about this at all. And he described it as being like a paradise on Earth, nothing he's ever seen before. Green hills, 74-degree temperature. The people there, like I said, referred to them as the surface world men, and he just described it as a place he would never want to leave. Now, it even gets stranger because the Nazis actually have a map of how to get there, and people have discovered it before, and there's directions. This is actually written by a German U-boat operator named Karl Unger. The translation, he wrote a letter and sent it from Agartha, and it arrived in Germany, and he never came back. It says, "This message will be a surprise to you. The U-boat 209 has made it. The Earth is hollow. Dr. Haas, Ofer, and Hess were right. The whole crew is doing well, but they cannot come back. We are not prisoners. I am certain that this message will reach you. It is the last contact with the U-209. We will meet again, comrade. I am worried about the people that have to live on the surface since the Fuhrer is gone. God bless our Germany always. With hearty greetings, Karl Unger." And that was the last they heard of the guy.
I'm trying to figure out how we got it back there.
They maybe have a post office in Agartha. It's a quicker one than here. It's like Amazon times 10. There's a lot of maps, though, and this is actually, the Nazis seem to be the ones that really got into this. Here is their map here of it. Translation: maps for the passage of the depths of the sea. Use only during maneuvers. Gosh, I can never figure out how to zoom in here, zoom out, because I can't read the bottom of this dang thing. But on the bottom here, it says, I'm pretty sure it says something about Agartha or Underworld or something.
Even click on the picture on the bottom.
This?
Yeah. Nothing.
I'm not doing anything, no.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how you make I wish I could see it because
$75 laptop. That's what happened.
cheapo. It's interesting though, and there, like this, I said, there's a diagram here. We're not gonna get into that yet. Here's the Hollow Earth kind of map. Agartha, land of advanced races. Like I said, the Buddhists are the ones that really believe it. Here's another map here. I wish I could zoom in on this dang thing. You could see they have Cave City. Maybe I could go back to that other one and get a better view here. Cave City, 7 semi-advanced race, ocean, mountains. Apparently there's a sky in there. They believe there's even a sun in the center of the earth. That's why the crust of the earth is so hot, because there's a sun underneath that. It's just the craziest thing here.
No wonder why the sidewalk's cracking.
Yeah, they even have like where other things are here.
That's how potholes come.
Pyramid of Giza, there's an entrance down. Mount Epim, I don't even know what that is. Italy, there's an entrance. Let's see here. If you go to the Kentucky Mammoth Caves, you can enter into it. So apparently you can enter from all these different places. Brazil, there's an entrance. It just sounds so crazy, but it kind of reminds me of the Journey to the Center of the Earth. Remember that? Mm-hmm. The book and the movie? There's a lot of different pictures here. This has been going back forever. Apparently it started in the 17th century. Edmund Halley, the guy that has a comet named after him, he proposed. He was the first one to propose that the Earth was hollow because of changing magnetism. So it's been way back, and look at how old this is here. Mm-hmm. The heavens, it's inside there. There's just all these different maps here talking about it, and it just makes you wonder what's down there. What do you guys think about that, though? Is that something that could be a real thing, or is it so far out there that there's no way?
I mean, I think for ones that always end with the government telling them not to like talk about it, I feel like those are always the ones where it's like, that actually happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why would they tell them not to talk about it, you know?
And because I feel like you can't put that kind of trust in an average person.
No.
That they're not going to like tell at least a single person about it, you know?
Yep.
Unless you bug his entire life.
Yep.
You know?
It's kind of the same thing with Area 51. How come no one's ever came out and like told us what's really there? Isn't that weird? I don't want to get in Area 51, but here's another thing. This is the secondary theory that no matter where you live in the world, we are not surrounded by the sky. The sky's surrounded inside of the Earth's crust. So we are actually inside of the Earth right now, and you are looking up into the center of the Earth. You see what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So we're still on a ball, but if you're in Italy and you look up, you're looking up at the sky, which is actually inside of the ball. Uh-huh. And if you're in New Zealand, you're looking up, which is the inside of the ball. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what would be on the outside of the ball. That'd be the big thing. underground, I guess, would be. So we are all living underground right now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is even a more bizarre theory, I feel like, but it's another one of those very interesting.
Seems pretty far out there.
Yeah, they both do. They both seem pretty far out there. I found them though, and I'm like, this is very interesting stuff, and I hope that people had never heard of either of them before. I'd never heard of either of them before.
That last one for sure, I thought was just really crazy because especially the fact that like you could just fly right in there, and like I feel like for him to fly in there, land, and then be able to come back, like I mean it seems like a little thing, but that must mean that it's not very far in there. You know what I'm saying? It must be like directly like underneath under the ground.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
I highly doubt that in Agartha they have gas stations. You know, like for him
Yeah,
to
better
fuel
than
up,
that.
You know
Better
what I mean?
than, yeah, he described it as like alien spacecraft flying around in there. And the more you look into it, it gets so absurd. But like you said, if the government is trying to mute this guy, why? Why are they trying to mute him? Let him talk crazy, whatever, it doesn't matter. But he's a well-respected guy who made a lot of discoveries, but he made one discovery that apparently he wasn't supposed to. So, I don't know. It's something to think about, something to look up, and I really am interested in looking into more Adams, that MKULTRA. Very interesting stuff.
I thought that was unbelievable that like that all the stuff came out because like they had gotten rid of all the documents. I think they said in 1973.
See, I hate that. I hate that the government can get away with that.
But then there was something that was revealed in either 75 or 77, I believe, that like really brought it to light and like explained a lot about that situation. And I think even the fact that they can go back and find the exact ones where they set up their own brothels, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like just being able to find that is like what I feel like that is so, unethical. But obviously I'm sure that's the minimum of the government's concerns is.
Yeah. It seems like it honestly because, like we talked about before, they get away with a lot of stuff, and then it just doesn't seem like anybody holds them accountable to it. So I don't know. Very interesting stuff. We'll have to do another couch conspiracy theories, we'll call it, episode where we just gotta dive into a couple of conspiracy theories you've never heard about. But other than that, we will get the official merchandise to Linda. Amazing job. I don't know how you did it. Maybe
Congrats,
you got lucky
that's
guessing randomly. That's probably how. We were
Unbelievable.
wondering if you counted or something. I don't know. Either way, it's amazing.
Good
You got the
job.
right number.
I couldn't
Great
even
job.
guess it. It was
We'll have to
right
do
in front
another
of me.
one. Maybe we'll guess something different here. With Easter coming up, though, jelly beans was the best thing we could possibly do. So, to everyone watching, thank you very much. This is Ethan Clare, Colin Clare, Adam Farag in the living room for the Couch Conspiracy Theory Ethan Clare Show podcast. We'll be back next week. See you then.
Objects.
I've got a grid
I'll put it up against another.
and then
Yeah, I remember.
It's not even the shape.
negative.
Mentally ill.
A special effects agency.